It happens before you can control it. Someone says something that isn't even that funny. A dark joke, an awkward moment, a tragic irony that no one else seems to catch, and you laugh. Not a polite chuckle, a real laugh. The kind that makes people stare. The kind that makes you wonder if something is wrong with you. You laugh at funerals. Not because you don't care, but because grief and absurdity collide in your brain and laughter is what escapes. You laugh during serious conversations. Not because you're dismissive, but because your mind already jumped 3 steps ahead and found something unexpectedly ridiculous in the logic. You laugh when you're stressed, scared, overwhelmed, and people look at you like you've lost your grip on reality. Why are you always laughing? Do you ever take anything seriously? This isn't funny, but here's what they don't understand. You're not laughing because you're shallow. You're laughing because your brain works differently. Faster, stranger, more connected than most. This is the psychology of people who laugh at everything. And today, we're going to explore something counterintuitive. Your excessive laughter might not be a flaw. It might be evidence of a mind that sees what others miss. Let's start with what's actually happening in your brain. Humor isn't simple. It requires sophisticated cognitive machinery. To find something funny, your brain must hold 2 contradictory ideas simultaneously, detect the unexpected twist, and resolve the incongruity in a way that produces pleasure rather than confusion. This is called the incongruity resolution theory of humor, and it's not passive. It demands rapid pattern recognition, mental flexibility, and the ability to see connections that aren't obvious. Neuroscientists have found that humor activates multiple brain regions at once. The prefrontal cortex for logic, the temporal lobe for language processing, the limbic system for emotional response. It's a full brain workout. And people who laugh frequently? Their brains are running these circuits constantly. Research from the University of New Mexico found a direct correlation between humor production and general intelligence. The funnier someone is, the higher their cognitive ability tends to be. But here's what most people miss. The same applies to humor reception. If you find more things funny, if your threshold for laughter is lower, it often means your brain is detecting more incongruities, more patterns, more absurdities than the average person. You're not laughing because you're simple. You're laughing because you're seeing layers that others aren't equipped to perceive. But there's a shadow side to this. And if you're someone who laughs at everything, you already know it. Because sometimes the laughter isn't about intelligence at all. Sometimes it's armor. Let's go deeper. Many people who laugh excessively develop this pattern in childhood. Not as a sign of joy, but as a survival mechanism. Maybe your household was tense, and your laughter became the pressure valve. Maybe you learned early that if you could make people laugh, you could diffuse their anger, distract from their pain, redirect the chaos into something manageable. Maybe you laughed to cope with things that were actually terrifying, because crying wasn't safe, because anger wasn't allowed, because laughter was the only emotional expression that didn't get you punished. This is called nervous laughter, and it's far more psychological than most realize. When the nervous system is overwhelmed by fear, by grief, by social pressure, it sometimes misfires. The body doesn't know whether to fight or flee, so it laughs instead. It's not humor. It's dysregulation wearing a smile. And if this happened enough in childhood, your brain wired laughter as the default response to discomfort. Now, as an adult, you laugh when you're anxious. You laugh when someone criticizes you. You laugh when you read delivering terrible news because something in your nervous system still believes that laughter will keep you safe. This isn't weakness. This is adaptation. Your brain learned that laughter was the best tool for survival, and it kept using it long after the danger passed. But here's where it gets complex. Because in your case, it might be both. You might be highly intelligent and emotionally guarded. You might see genuine absurdity in the world and use laughter to distance yourself from pain you don't want to feel. The two aren't mutually exclusive. In fact, they often coexist in the same person. The class clown who's actually brilliant but terrified of being truly seen. The friend who makes everyone laugh but goes home to silence and emptiness. The person who finds humor in everything because feeling everything would be too much. If this resonates, you already understand. Your laughter is both gift and shield. And untangling which requires more than surface-level analysis. As you grow older, the patterns become more embedded. You might use humor to deflect vulnerability. Someone gets too close, asks a real question, and you crack a joke to escape the intimacy. You're funny, so people let you get away with it. But inside, you know you're hiding. You might struggle to be taken seriously. You've been the funny one for so long that people forget you have depth. They come to you for entertainment, not for substance. And the loneliness of being typecast as comic relief, it's a quiet ache no one acknowledges. You might find that your humor turns dark. The smarter you are, the more you see. And what you see isn't always pretty. So your jokes edge toward the morbid, the existential, the absurd. People laugh nervously. Some don't laugh at all. And you wonder if you've finally revealed too much of the void you're always circling. You might laugh at your own pain because processing it genuinely feels impossible. The breakup becomes a bit. The failure becomes a story you tell at parties. The trauma becomes material. And while everyone admires how well you're handling it, you know the truth, you're not handling it, you're performing it. This is the cost of being the one who laughs at everything. You become addicted to the deflection. You lose access to the emotions underneath. You build an identity around levity and forget that you're allowed to be heavy sometimes. So why does any of this connect to intelligence? Because intelligent minds are pattern recognition machines. They see connections everywhere. And humor, at its core, is about unexpected connections, about linking two things that don't belong together in a way that surprises the brain into pleasure. Studies show that people with higher IQs appreciate more complex humor. They enjoy irony, satire, dark comedy, absurdism. They laugh at things that require cognitive effort to understand. And they often produce humor spontaneously because their brains are constantly generating novel associations. But intelligence also means seeing more of reality. And reality, when observed closely, is frequently absurd. The gap between how things should be and how they are, that gap, is where humor lives. And intelligent people see that gap everywhere. So yes, your constant laughter might be a sign of high intelligence. But it might also be a sign that your intelligence has shown you things you'd rather not feel. And laughter became the bridge between perception and pain. This is where the real work begins. Shadow work for the one who laughs at everything isn't about stopping the laughter. It's about examining what lives beneath it. Ask yourself, when do I laugh instead of cry? When do I make jokes instead of admitting I'm hurt? When do I perform levity because sincerity feels too dangerous? This isn't about pathologizing your humor. Your laughter is valuable, it's connective, it's creative, it's often the smartest thing in the room. But if laughter has become your only language, if it's the wall you hide behind rather than the window you look through, then it's worth asking what you re-protecting. The goal isn't to become serious. The goal is to become whole. You can be the one who laughs and the one who weeps. You can find absurdity hilarious and still let yourself grieve. You can use humor as a gift without using it as a cage. Carl Jung wrote, "The pendulum of the mind oscillates between sense and nonsense, not between right and wrong." Your laughter lives in that oscillation. It's the recognition that life is simultaneously meaningful and absurd. That's not a deficiency. That's wisdom wearing a grin. So if you're someone who laughs at everything, hear this. You are not broken. You are not shallow. You are not avoiding life. You are seeing more of it than most people can handle. And laughter is how your brilliant, overwhelmed, pattern-obsessed brain processes the chaos. But you're also allowed to put the laughter down sometimes, to sit in the silence, to feel the weight without immediately converting it into comedy. Your humor is a superpower, but even superheroes take off the cape. Let yourself be unfunny sometimes. Let yourself be seen without the performance. Let someone witness the person behind the punchline. Because you are more than your laughter. You are the mind that sees what others miss. You are the heart that feels more than it shows. You are the one who turned pain into comedy because survival demanded it. But survival isn't the goal anymore. Living is. And living means laughing when it's real and letting yourself be still when the laughter finally rests. You don't have to perform anymore. You can just be. And that, perhaps, is the funniest twist of all.